guys, welcome back to another episode of Year of the Empire. This week we're reviewing Monster Force Volume 1. That is an animated TV show about the Universal monsters that nobody remembers. You watched this, right?
What?
We're reviewing Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks.
Sorry, it is technically called Robot
Jocks.
It feels like it should be Robo Jocks, because that's what the original title was, apparently, and it rolls off the tongue so well. Robot Jocks.
It's like, hey, I'm going to go watch Robo Jocks. Hey, I'm going to go watch Robot Jocks.
It doesn't even feel like your mouth doesn't even want to say that.
Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks. It's too much. That T, too much. Alright, so this movie came out.
Sorry.
This movie came out in 1990. Some places also say 1989. So I don't know. You know, it came out.
It came out.
Yeah, it came out.
Twas a long time ago.
Yes, in the galaxy here. So anyways, with Robot Jocks, it is directed by the fabulous Stuart Gordon, same guy who did Re-Animator that we will be getting to, as well as From Beyond and Dolls and other important movies. This one, probably not the important movie, but I will say, out of all of these Empire Pictures movies I've seen, not counting Re-Animator, this one feels like it could easily go toe-to-toe. Am I boring you?
Yeah.
This one feels like it could easily go toe-to-toe with any other B movie coming out from that time. And, like, some parts of it feel like an actual, like, big-budget A movie, but there's also things that kind of weigh it down.
There's a lot that makes it seem not like an A movie.
Yeah, but it is very interesting. So, the reason it came about is that the director was like a fan of Robotech stuff growing up, or at least a Japanese equivalent of it, as well as Transformers, which were pretty big. I think Gundams, I don't think was an influence on this, but it's also like a thing of note that was floating around there. Basically like Japanese giant robot TV shows.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to make that in a live action movie, because if no one else is going to put that out, then I guess I have to make it.
You know, that's just hard.
1990 was not the time to try that. However, I'm glad it does exist because we get a lot of stop motion and animatronics that you just don't get from... Yeah, it's all models work that you just don't get from Transformers or Pacific Rim.
It actually looked really good, too. Like, you got to take into consideration for the time and for the budget, it looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, the robot fighting looked good.
There's like weight to the robot. That's what I heard people talk about is when the robots are fighting, like it's not like super fast movements. You can see like the slowness of it, and at the same time, like you could see like the impacts of it. Like with Transformers, for example, everything is just like a fluid motion that it doesn't even feel like
gravity really just doesn't.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Michael Bay was never taught that in school. So was Robot Jocks. This movie, it has these effects that we really wouldn't get at any other time period. This is like the peak of not having crappy CGI effects in the 90s. But at the same time, it's also an Empire Pictures movie. So despite one of the biggest budgets they ever had...
It had a fun concept. Everything was looked pretty good for the budget.
It was goofy.
But it was just like this goofy, cheesy, I don't even know about cheesy. It was just, I think goofy is a better word. It was just kind of like everyone's relationship with each other just felt like, I don't even know the word that I want to use. Like, it just felt like...
The biggest, cliche kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, cliche. It just felt like, and it's just like they played up that cliche, but they didn't play it up like they meant to play it up.
Yeah.
Because you could play up a cliche a lot, and it's actually like, you can play into your movie, but... They built it up, and I don't think they realized they were building the cliche up.
Just going through the motions.
It was like a goofy cliche that they didn't know they were being cliche with.
Unfortunately. So, yeah, I guess in execution it didn't work well. Effects, I think, were pretty much as good as it could have been back then.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it could have been better.
On that budget.
Even on, a bigger budget, I don't know how much better it would have. They would have had a little bit of CGI, probably. Like primitive CGI,
which isn't good stuff.
But at the same time, around that time, you could get okay looking stuff.
Jurassic Park era stuff. I will say, when I was reading in the Empire Pictures book, there was apparently a big disconnect between the director and the writer of this, and they didn't realize their disconnect until the end of filming.
How do you not realize there's a disconnect?
Well, what they said was the director at the end of filming, he realized, okay, the problem between us making this movie and how we're not seeing eye to eye and like the tone is totally shifting left and right is that I'm trying to make a kids movie that adults can enjoy, and the writer is trying to make an adult movie that kids can enjoy parts of it. And it's pretty much they were both shooting at different like denominators, and
that makes sense.
It just,
you could feel that. Yeah, you could feel that. The tone feels weird. He's like holding the girl down at one point, like kisses her, and then she like knees him in the balls or something.
Tons of innocent people die just as like collateral damage.
It kind of like
and like shell shocks this man too. It is very violent. Like
that's not a kids movie.
But at the same time, they're trying to make a kids movie with all of this like fighting and like oh yay, basically Russia versus U.S. Rocky IV, but with giant robots. So anyways, getting into the plot of it. It is in a future war is outlawed, and now all disputes.
Oh my god, this is just Rocky with big robots.
All disputes are solved by just the countries getting in giant robots and one-on-one fighting.
Because he said he liked the idea, like the old, like the Greeks' time with like Achilles and stuff. Mm-hmm. Hey, you send your two best warriors out. They fight. Whoever loses, that team, that country or group loses the battle. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of people don't have to die. He liked that concept, so he's like, let's do it with big robots.
I was on board for it. I think it was good.
I like the concept. I thought it was a really fun concept.
And it's interesting too because like it's not like the U.S. versus Russia, even though that is what it is. But in the future, the U.S. equivalent is called the market, and then the Russia equivalent is called
Federation. Something Federation.
Confederation.
The Confederation.
Yeah, the Confederation. So that was very interesting, but at the same time, like the villain is very underdeveloped. He's just the Confederation guy.
He talks in a high-pitched voice because he's underdeveloped.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. He's the most stereotypical like Russian bad guy you can get from like an 80s or 90s.
I'm a Russian bad guy.
That's exactly what it sounds like too. You don't really spend any time with him. It's not like what you do like kind of understand. Like again, Rocky IV would be the equivalent. Like Ivan Drago, like you can see stuff and there's a personality there. Was this other guy? He's just kind of there.
Is there personality in Ivan Drago?
No, but like you get scenes with him training and doing things and doing.
I'm so happy right now.
And just kind of like seeing things from his side of the thing. You don't see this guy train at all. So anyways, this is like the second time we brought up Rocky in these reviews.
This makes sense though. This is essentially Rocky IV, just big robots, which good concept.
It's not bad. So, anyways, they fight, and the Confederation is winning a bunch, and they think it's because there's, like, a leak in the system in the market, and, like, all of their special moves are getting leaked, and all of the weak points in their robots, so they're getting their butts kicked, but then they bring in, what is it, Apollo? Is he the main guy? What's his name? Achilles. I can't remember.
It's might be Achilles, actually. I think it's Achilles.
I'm going to go as Achilles.
I'm going to go as Achilles.
And guess what? We're right. I could have just looked in the back of the DVD.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not Apollo.
Yeah. To go along with, again, the Iliad connection. So anyways, this guy ends up, he's like their best one, and this is going to be his last match, but he pretty much loses the match, but it's a technicality because the Russian Confederation dude like does something he's not supposed to.
He just like kills everybody.
Yeah, a bunch of people die, unfortunately. So, and it's kind of cool, just like a whole stand of people like in this guarded area watching these fights and really getting into it.
You ever see SpongeBob when they throw that grease into the crowd and they turn into fish sticks? It was that.
That's actually exactly what happened.
They're actually having a... Oh my god!
That's a violent thing for SpongeBob. Oh my god. I'm rethinking my childhood with that. Jeez.
I rewatched SpongeBob. You probably should.
Anyways, so he eventually decides that he wants to get out of it, and it's interesting because then they introduce the thing where the market has created like genetically engineered people to fight in these things. And again, there's like one person inside these giant robots, kind of like Pacific Rim, just was one instead of two people.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pacific Rim's the two people, and you need the two.
Pacific Rim definitely. This is an influence that movie. So anyways, there's like these genetic people, and there's like this girl that kind of has a thing for.
Kind of doesn't.
The main character kind of doesn't.
I feel like she fell into that.
I didn't know what was going on with her.
Her typecast in a way was the. what's that colonial marine in the second Alien?
Vasquez.
Vasquez.
Yeah, she kind of looked like Vasquez too.
You notice from that movie coming out for like a decade and a half that that is that type of woman.
Yeah.
Being cast like the short-haired, like tough, like I'm a woman, but like I could take
do
on
everything that a man can do.
Like, and it's never done as well as like Vasquez, because you know Vasquez is a real OG, and it's
she's
just
not
like
even she's not even Mexican.
Oh,
that's the actress. Yeah,
that's probably
it's a white person.
So why couldn't they just call her like
I don't know,
Karen or
Karen.
Connie?
Karen. But anyways,
I digress.
So yeah, it really just amounts to the guy says he's not gonna fight, and then the girl gets picked to fight, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna fight because I want to protect her," and then she like drugs him and whatnot, and then there's a big fight, and she loses, so he gets in and fights for her, and big fight. They go into space for some reason. That was never mentioned as a possibility beforehand, and then it ends with just a fist fight between the two.
And I brought this up as we were watching the stuff. I'm just like, because they're both the robots get destroyed, and they're just like going ham with like just rebar trying to like brain each other. And I'm just like, it reminds me of Talladega Nights when they're big car wreck, and you just got Ricky Bobby and why am I blanking on his name? I've watched that movie like a billion times.
Spilt my macchiato.
Yeah, like you have those two just in a foot chase, and then it's just like the announcers are like, there's no way this is gonna count, but like we want to see how this turns out. I think that's what it was like. People are watching it just like, this is not gonna count. They're out of the robots, but I want to see which one of them dies.
And then it ends with them saying, "Hey, we're not gonna fight," and then they like shake hands and movie ends.
We left out a big like, I don't want to even say it on here, a plot twist. I don't want to really say it in here. I don't know if I want to like. Because I loved it.
Okay, yeah. So we both watched this movie separately, and we've both loved this this plot twist separately. I'm going to say we're not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's actually going to watch it. But if you do...
Yeah, there's a good plot twist in it.
It was a good plot twist that I'm like, you know what? I don't think I've really seen that one before.
I didn't see this plot twist coming. And typically with these movies, they're extremely predictable. I did not see this one coming, and I thought it was... really well done.
Yeah,
so we're not going to spoil it. So that's pretty much our thoughts of Robot Jocks, which...
It's like a grasshopper down
there. Is a grasshopper in here? Why is there a grasshopper in here?
Oh,
God dang, there is.
We found a snake in here before. So.
Yeah. Weird stuff happening in this basement. Anyways, that's pretty much all we got to say about Robot Jocks. I do recommend it.
Yeah. It's watchable, and I'd rewatch it. So that hits my I'd watch it again mark, and that's important for me. Like if it's there's been plenty of these. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it again unless like we do something else with it. I'm not watching it again. It was horrible. This one like
has some merit.
Just too
cheesy.
It's like jumping around that dude, and it's just like, but it's yeah, it's a little cheesy. It doesn't know it's like hyping up the cheesy like cliche-ness, but the effects, like, I think somebody watching it would be able to look at it and be like, I appreciate this.
David Allen comes back and does the stop motion effects, which he's done everything else. So everything else we've reviewed on his channel, he's pretty much done. Very interesting stuff. Also of note, there were two movies that are kind of similar to it that were marketed as sequels that Full Moon made. One of them was Robot Wars, and the other one is called Crash and Burn, which is something they say a lot in this movie. It's kind of like their
Crash Bandicoot and Burn.
Yes, Crash Bandicoot and Burn. So those movies we might eventually cover at one point, but they're not technically sequels. They were just given that title in some territories. And I think they might have even reused some footage because Full Moon doesn't care. So that's pretty much all we got to say about Robot Jocks.
Worth a watch.
Yeah, worth a watch. It's different than the ones we've been reviewing on this channel. So I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it gives a thumbs up. And maybe like another one that says like
we all the way home.